Good morning, fellow citizens of Nigeria. Thank you for joining us again on the show, the Sunday show, on your favorite channel, African Independent Television, AIT. Barely a week ago, a tanker conveying fuel fell and caught fire at the place called Diko Junction in Niger State, killing several persons and leaving others with various degrees of burns. The last figures available to us indicate that the death toll from that incident has risen to 100. It is really a sad one, and we want to condole with families of those who lost their lives. May God comfort you. We also wish those receiving treatments at different hospitals a speedy recovery. The show today will seek to assess the journey so far in Nigeria's entertainment industry. But before we go any further, let us welcome my associate anchor, Makwin Joseph. Good morning, and how was your week?
Yes, the week went well. The week went well.
Okay.
Just for the little stories here and there.
Yeah, it's horrible. Terrible. Even after the Diko Junction incident,
other
tankers
incidents
are falling and people still went there to scoop fuel. We see these videos online. It is crazy. Why have people refused to learn? Because any little spark,
definitely, that's all. Well, good morning, ever-resilient citizens of Nigeria. It's great to be here once again, and what a week had sincerely. The loss of lives over avoidable incidences like the fall of a tanker is very unfortunate. You can imagine if the roads were in good condition or rail lines cover such areas. What can I say? Well, but on a lighter note, the news of the return of the wife of Nigeria's former Deputy Senate President, Beatrice Ike Ekweremadu, from detention in the United Kingdom sparked celebrations and hopes in some quarters across Nigeria. And there is this optimism that former Deputy Senate President himself will also regain his freedom in the nearest future. We're all looking forward to that. On the international stage, Donald Trump made a historic return to the White House and hit the ground running as he promised, issuing what can be described as the highest number of executive orders within the first few hours in office, sincerely. The week was really packed with remarkable events, but like my colleague said, we have a topic to revisit today. Our engagement with veterans in the entertainment industry is in the cards. And of course, let's see what the news in the week was looking like.
I think the world is evolving actually. So, but generally to me, music, it's all about the message you are passing to others. You understand? It influences life positively or negatively. So it's all about the message. I feel putting a ban on those contents is like the government is taking us backwards. So I don't really believe in that. We have to keep moving forward, and that is how it's done in other countries. So we have to promote it.
I wouldn't say there should be a ban, because what we are practicing is democracy, freedom of speech, freedom to express yourself, and the rest. The only thing I just want in place is just a way of reducing all those things, giving out warnings that in such a way that, because most of this content we pass tends to have a negative way of impacting our life, negatively or positively.
The old music got more content than the new music these days, yeah, because most music send messages. So once the message is not complete, the music is actually empty. It's not about going with the trend. It's about music that is going to stand the test of time. Trends go, but when you do a music that stands test of time, you're talking about the next 20, 30 years, people are still vibing to that song.
It is a multi-billion-dollar industry with enormous prospects, having grown from one stage to another. Nigeria's entertainment industry metamorphosed into a giant with evolution in technology and the ingenuity of Nigerians. We engaged major stakeholders in the industry, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the interactive section.
Grab your seats and join us on the most fascinating 60-minute infotainment journey, showing on your favorite TV channel, Africa Independent Television, AIT. Analysis on topical national issues, news, sports, and entertainment are on the menu. It's a show you do not want to miss. It is The Sunday Show.
It's the Sunday Show on Africa Independent Television, AIT. I am not alone. My name is Obi Ajuru, and I have my dear colleague here, my co-anchor, Makwen Joseph.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to have you.
Good morning once again. Yes, it's looking beautiful. And the topic we're actually looking at is the entertainment industry. And I don't think this episode will be enough for us to dissect it.
Very, very large.
But the good thing is I am going to be talking with some of my favorites, people I grew up watching and hearing about. Today we'll be having a chit-chat with them.
Those two young men are expatriates.
Yeah, two young men from the other side.
Yes. Young men.
Legends.
They are expatriates in what they do. So welcoming you this morning, Orits Willikis. Good morning.
How are you? Good morning.
Very well. Good to have you. Yes, we have Orits Willikis, a Nigerian reggae musician who gained recognition upon the success of his 1989 record, Tribulation, and which was partly produced by Lemmy Jackson. And the song followed by Conqueror. Good to have you again, Orits.
Thank you. Thank you so plenty.
Yes. And of course, we have the mover and the shaker of the behind-the-scenes stuff. Yes, Eddie Lawni. Good morning.
Hi.
Eddie is an event specialist. He is strategic communication strategist. Eddie, we met at water parks. That was some 20-something years ago during an event with Lagbaja and Co. I'm sure you remember. So yes. Good to have you, gentlemen. I want to begin my interview this morning with you as an artist manager and then a special event specialist. Today, the Nigerian music, we are looking at the evolution of the entertainment industry, and you know how large it is. A lot of people are doing stuffs in their houses. You record, you push into the social media. People are doing skits. In the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, it was all about music, music, and music, where we have series of record labels. But today is the difference entirely. It is so wide now, it's so large. So, Eddie, how has the journey been as a specialist in the industry?
Well, it has been an interesting journey, and I think the industry is better for it, because technology has come to our aid. And today, with the use of technology and music from Nigeria is reaching every corner of the world. And I would say that artists in this time are lucky, and I hope that they use the advantage that technology and internet has given them to make the best of what they are doing.
Wonderful. Orits.
Yes, please.
Orits Willikis.
Yes, please.
Tribulation is still trending. Conqueror is still trending. In the days of, okay, let me say in the 60s, 70s, 80s, like I said earlier on, and the 90s, it was all about music. And once you come out with a big hit, you'll be all over the place. Would you want to compare, in your own time, that early stage of the music industry to what is happening now? Talking about evergreen songs.
Well, I would say that both ends have their own advantages and disadvantages. I would say part of the disadvantages we had nowadays was that there was no internet, and the scope of coverage in terms of promoting your job was a little smaller than what it is now. And people then were not doing the whole thing like it was business. Somebody like you, for example, who will hear that Orits Willikis has a new one out, will on your own even go and look for it. You don't even need to wait for me. You go and pick it up because you want to have it in your program. And so you play with the love and the passion you have for music. You don't need to know the artist, you understand? But it's not the same thing now. And because a lot of you guys that were presenters then were trained, and so you do research on every product you want to promote on air, and so you can actually discuss the life and personality that you play on your stylus. Then we used to have vinyl and all that, you play on air. But it is not so these days. These days we have the internet. Will I say, unfortunately, most of the presenters we have today are not undergoing the same training that a lot of you guys were opportunity to have before you go on air. These days you have kids, maybe 20, 25, who probably just have a passion for speaking good English, and then he's behind the microphone as a presenter. He doesn't know the rudiment. He doesn't know the training that goes beyond just playing music on radio. And so when you ask one or two questions, they are not able to express. They are not able to answer because they don't know. They only just know of perhaps Davido, and then play Davido. You do not, you do not go beyond just Davido to do research on who is Davido. So when you play Davido and listeners ask you certain questions, you should be able to, answer that question because you have done a lot of research before you play the job. But today it's not the same.
So talking about the evolution, the industry has grown positively because when we talk about the business of music, there is so much to benefit when it comes to music. But then, during your days as musicians in the Nigerian space, what was the benefits, apart from passion for the music and passion for the industry, what was the benefit compared to what it is today?
Well, the benefits then was for the passion. For the passion.
Not the money.
For the passion. Yes, because if it was for the money, we didn't have the money. You understand? So thank God we had professional recording companies then, like Polygram, EMI, you have the Sony and the rest of them who were handled at the helms of affair, by professionals, who came in from out of the country and then they are here doing the job professionally. They know how to discover an artist. They know how to promote the artist. They know how to market the artist. And so if Orits Willikis were to be coming out next month with a new one, the record company would have sensitized the entire public. And so you see distributors paying far ahead of time. So you can, in one day, distribute over 400,000, records sold because they have paid for it. So you have professionals doing it. So the rest of all those professionals brought a lacuna in the system whereby pirates became the kings and they took over the industry. The musicians were not making money until they too decided to say, okay, let us begin to have our mushroom labels, So we started having our personal labels to handle our job. And so you were actually working for people to just make money. You were not making the money because you didn't have the wherewithal. You don't have the capacity to actually do everything all by yourself. So it was a tough time before now.
I can imagine. Eddie, you are an event specialist, an artist manager. Tell me, what was it like those days when you were working with the likes of Lagbaja and Sashino Peters and all the rest of them as a special strategist in that entertainment industry?
Okay, maybe we're interested to know that I started off as a journalist.
Okay, that's a very special aspect. Okay.
Yeah. I started off as a journalist. Then I had a run in radio as a stringer and Voice of Nigeria. Wow. Then I went on to TV, producing and directing before I went into music full time. So that's why you see the communication part. And I actually also worked for P-Man for about 2 years. So that gave me an insight into the front end and the back end of the industry. And in the process, I ended up managing a few artists as well, along with the Rascal Felix and Moses, Lieutenant Shotgun. And then I was also involved in discovering and nurturing to stardom people like Two-Face Dibia, Alibaba.
I didn't want to talk about it. I wanted you to let the cat out of the bag there.
And and Darishoki as well, a number of them. So, from my point of view, I was always in the engine room of having to help to propel the artist.
The original
maybe
cook.
In addition to whatever the record company was able to bring to the table, and in some cases where the record company brought nothing. Because very few artists were lucky, or you have to be like extremely, extremely good, top of the food chain, like an Orits, like an Yeka, like then a Chris Mba or a Rascal.
His blessed memory.
Below this level, there were people who were willing to also get heard. And that was what brought about the independent labels, which eventually also paved way for piracy because there was no control anymore. An independent label is somebody who probably gets some voice from a Jigula or from a Jeleba, can print a few CDs, and because they don't have a distribution network, they take it to Alaba, and then the Alaba people, when they are selling these independent artists, and they see that Orits has a hit, they cut and join into it as well. So as they are doing the business, they are robbing Orits or robbing Kimono. Unfortunately, that was where we found ourselves in the industry, up until the advent of the internet, and that kind of democratized the music creation space. So like you said earlier, you can be in your room on your phone and make a beat or cook a tune. It wouldn't matter what the quality is, because the channel for listening had also gone from the home appliances majorly to listening on your phone. And when you listen to music that you have made on your phone, there is less demand for quality of mixes. I mean, Pupa Orits is someone who is known for good mixes of his albums. Then when you're making a record to be heard on phone, you can cut corners and just put a few frequencies and skip the rest and run with it. So it became quicker to make music and easier to distribute. But I must also say that it has also become harder to succeed, because now you have so much music, so much information, so many artists, that only about 4 or 5% will ever get to the status of what you might call national stardom, and maybe about 2% or 1.5 get to international stardom. So with every advantage, like Orits said, you have a disadvantage. Yes, technology has helped us that music can travel far and wide very quickly. It has also made it easy for every and anybody to be in that space. And then even harder to have a winner or to have a star in the real sense of it that we can say this is a national star or an international star. So people are now existing in different pockets, in different communities, in different clusters, and doing their thing. Way back then, it was more difficult, and I wouldn't even say it was more profitable then, unfortunately.
Okay.
I can imagine.
The thing is, from the advent of the industry, it has been passion and passion and passion. Even we, talking about on-air personalities, we came into the industry because of passion. We grew up loving what we were hearing. Then we found ourselves, luckily we found ourselves in the studios doing what we're doing. And from the way it is, nobody will tell you, almost everybody will tell you that it started from passion. It's the passion that drove him into doing this. Then when you have the passion, you get trained, and when you get trained, you do what you're doing, and that brings the longevity, bringing us to this point. And now let me talk to Papa Orits. How would you say, because whether we like it or not, the Nigerian music industry cannot be, the story of the Nigerian music industry cannot be written without making mention of people like you. How would you say, if you wake up today looking at how Nigerian music has grown over the world, even with the fact that we still have bad eggs or unqualified musicians and music producers, but how, on the positive side, how would you say, looking at the Nigerian industry, the Nigerian music industry going global, what would you say as a father in the industry?
Okay, I'll say I'm glad to be alive at this time to see what our dreams, were at a time. At a time, you could not define Nigerian music. It was almost impossible for you to define the Nigerian music because we had the space filled up with superstars, whether Fuji, whether reggae, whether high life, whether pop or indigenous music. So you have everybody in that space occupying the space. And so you couldn't say this was a Nigerian music. But today, I give kudos to our children who has been able to create something out of nothing, and then you can identify a Nigerian beat today from anywhere in the world. And so when you play a Nigerian music, whether in Asia or everywhere, this must be coming from Nigeria. In fact, other countries are copying Nigeria, rhythm now to be able to help their own level of music. And that is a good thing. The only problem I have, especially for our kids, is the contents. Thank God some of them are listening, because when we speak, that you need to have the heady contents in your music because it's going to be heard. Like I asked one, I can't begin to say what he said in his lyrics, and I said, okay, at 94, when you have grandchildren, when they start asking you, Daddy, what were you saying, or Grandpa, what did you mean by this word? Will you be able to explain to your and then it will be a thing of them, because they were not words that are heady that people can be proud of, and that is why they don't last. And so we were inspired to write songs. We were not those kind of musicians who would just say, create beat for me, I put in words, and then you're a star. No, you must be inspired to write a song. And so those that live in that web, who write music based on the inspiration, live forever. You just said tribulation is still trending. Tribulation was 35 years ago. And so if it was not inspired, written, it would not stand the test of time.
Evergreen
Things
songs.
we spoke about, yes, things we spoke about, because the true musicians are the eye of the public, okay? And so we are the epitome of the society we live in. And so things we cried over, things we talked about at a time we thought we were suffering, is worse now. So you will say some of us have the eye of the future, because people like Fela, things he talked about at the time when we thought we were suffering are today 10 times, worse.
Horrible.
And so it's only when you are inspired to write a song that you can be relevant that way and stand the test of time. So today, most of our kids just wake up, go to the studio, oh yeah, DJ, or create me one beat. You create
Mr. Producer.
Beat, and just say la la whoa whoa yeah yeah la la whoa whoa yeah yeah, and then you have written a song. No, it doesn't go that way. It not go so. So some of them are very good, but I know with time the chaps will be filtered out from the main grain.
Oh, definitely,
definitely. So the scene is like for every Dick and Harry now, just like my brother said. The scene is like for every Dick and Harry right now, because it's the evolution of internet, and so you can throw in anything in the internet. But with time, the good ones will also filter out, to also stand the test of time. So I give kudos to all my kids my children who are doing so well today. But the only thing is that they don't have the history in their head to know that people, work so hard to enjoy, for them to enjoy what they're enjoying now. They don't have the history is telling them so. And so they don't know. They just think they fall from the sky. No, people work so hard. People like Edi Lawni, who had no money at the time, but for the passion of it, was doing everything in rain, in sun, Old people sometimes when he has to borrow money to push his artist. And so those that were watching wouldn't know. They don't have that history. They don't have it. So today they are excited about.
All we want to know is having
they want to blow.
Going to attend, go to an event where you have him behind the scene, and of course it's a huge success. So
and let me talk to Edi Lawni. As it is today, the history of events, and not just the history of events, but the successes recorded in major events, your name has to be written in these places.
In gold.
Today, the Nigerian music industry, Nigerian artists are selling out arenas not just in Nigeria, but in different continents and countries in the world. You as a father, talking about creativity and talking about putting together events, what would you say, and how would you now put it, looking at what is happening? Because you people started it.
You laid the foundation.
Life is about time and season. Time and season in terms of we go through phases of evolution. So a generation comes, they do their part and move on. The next generation comes and they do their part and move on. And every generation, they will have their fault, they will have their follies, they will have their good, they will have their part. Yeah. Because I remember that even when Orits Willikis and Kimono were like top of the game, there were old generation who were saying they didn't know what they were talking about. So it will always be a generational problem. So we have to be open-minded enough to like understand that and maybe excuse the new generation. Is their time. They will live through it. Maybe, I don't know, in 20 years' time, they too will look at people who are doing stuff then and think that their own time was a lot better and had more sanity. So I see Nigerian artists filling up arenas all over the world. We're happy for that, at least. It's getting us some measure of foreign exchange into the country, money that they repatriate home. But then the question again is, why are we not able to replicate that at home? And the answer is simple. There's no money, people are hungry, and people only spend disposable income on entertainment, unfortunately. Those days, people save to buy the records of their favorite artists because they know they can enjoy that music for 1 year, 2 years, and always play every Sunday. Their records they will play from Kimono to Kenny Rogers to Sonny Ade to Oliver DeCoke. You made a record, you had 6 months to enjoy it, right? Now, you don't even have a week to enjoy a song because there's just too many songs that are popping. So people are streaming. It's cheaper to stream or download. People really don't have extra cash to be able to go to big concerts on regular basis, weekends, to help us generate that live music industry, unfortunately. Except where some sponsors come along and put money behind it. But as a business, it's a business model. If you want to say, I'm a promoter, I take artists from here to Warri to perform this weekend and go to Aba the following weekend. You run at a loss. You go bankrupt. Some of us have gone bankrupt in promotion business because what's it called?
The returns.
The returns, yeah, was just not measuring up. The return is just not measuring up if you don't have sponsorship. Whereas abroad, there are different layers of income stream, from merchandising to TV rights to other ancillary like performing rights. And artist finishes playing in O2, he still earns money from other copyright benefits that accrue from the performance that he has had. But here, the industry did not develop to that extent or hasn't gotten to that extent yet because there are so many factors that come into play. Do we have the venues? Do we have the expertise? Do we have the platforms that an artist can leave Sokoto and travel across Nigeria and do 50 shows and go back to base? That needs to be developed. It can't just happen overnight. And in most cases, because it takes time to develop those structures, those that have money in Nigeria buy cement and sell it tomorrow or put it in a real estate where they are sure they can have their money. So there has to be a commitment both from government and maybe some focused private sector investors to help build the groundwork so we can have what we see happening abroad by way of arenas and venues filling out. But again, the bottom line still remains, if you haven't eaten, the chance that you can take 20,000 to buy a ticket at a concert is very remote.
I'd love to end this show with playing the song of Orits Willikis, but as long as we stream this program, we do not have the right to do that. But Orits, as we round off this show this morning, your advice to the young musicians out there?
My advice for them is to work hard, especially to those who want to come into the business, to understand that first you must have the talent. Don't be deceived by what you see of other people, becoming stars. If you don't have it, you don't have it. And so when you want to go, you know that it's a road full of thorns. It's not a road full of bed of roses. So hard work, you stay out of troubles, out of drugs, put God first in whatever you do, and then success is at your doorstep.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. I describe the two of you as expatriates in what you do. The real deal is the man behind the scene, who every event, a successful event that I have attended in Lagos some years back, Eddie will always be behind it. And thank you, Orits. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Those days when we used to sit out somewhere inside, outside the studio of Repa 106 and Repa 100, way back in Alagbadu. Yeah. Yes, it was a huge one. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Over
Those
to you,
were the good days.
Legend.
Thank you.
Legend.
Thank you.
All I can say is legend.
Yeah.
Thank you very much once again for having your time, spending your time with us on the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Grab your seats and join us on the most fascinating 60-minute infotainment journey, showing on your favorite TV channel, Africa Independent Television, AIT. Analysis on topical national issues, news, sports, and entertainment are on the menu. It's a show you do not want to miss. It is The Sunday Show.
Sincerely, I'm proud to be a Nigerian. I'm saying that with all my energy. Though things are not really how they ought to be, but closer look at the prospects, potentials, opportunities that the nation and its citizens are blessed with, I still see that little spark of hope. Many believe purposeful leadership is the way, talking about the key, and they may not be far from the truth. Leadership starts from a very small unit, the homes, the schools, the workplaces, and other places. Therefore, wherever we are privileged to lead, let us endeavor to offer our best. We thank our guests once again for keeping a date with us as all the time.
Surely we appreciate your followership of the program, Sunday Show on AIT. We again assure you of our commitment to addressing issues relating to our individual and collective development as a people. Just keep faith with us. It is now time to bring you views and vibes, entertainment, yes, and sports and newsmaker. Enjoy it.
Hi, you're welcome to the Vibes and Views segment on the Sunday Show. I am Anu Awojobi. You're welcome. The Abba Makama directed documentary, The Odyssey, executive produced by Bobo Omotayo and Tosin Ashafa as producer, centered on the history of the music of the people of southwest Nigeria, is in the making. The Odyssey, which celebrates 100 years of the Yoruba music, charting its evolution across genres such as Juju music, Akpala, High Life, Fuji, among others, also highlights its influence on modern Afrobeats. And just so you know, Nigerian urban high life singer-songwriter Adekunle Gold, AG Baby as popularly called, has been selected as one of the co-producers for the documentary The Odyssey. The documentary is expected for release later this year.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us for the 97th Oscars nominations announcement.
Moving on, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences has unveiled the nomination list for the 97th edition of the annual Oscars Awards, scheduled for Sunday, March 2nd, 2025 in Hollywood, Los Angeles, California, United States. Sitting pretty on the nomination list is the 2024 Spanish-language Netflix musical crime thriller Emilia Perez, with 13 nods, the most nominated foreign film in Oscars history. Wow! The 2024 epic drama film The Brutalist and the blockbuster musical adaptation Wicked followed with 10 nominations each. And lastly, R&B star Chris Brown has sued the entertainment conglomerate Warner Brothers Discovery to the tune of $500 million for alleged defamatory claims against him in the 2024 documentary titled Chris Brown, A History of Violence. The documentary, released October 2024, addresses allegations of misconduct and sexual assault against the singer. It featured a Jane Doe, who sued Brown for allegedly drugging and assaulting her on Sean Diddy Combs' yacht during a party in 2020, a case which has been dismissed without prejudice. In the lawsuit, Chris Brown had accused the producers of the docu-series, Warner Brothers and Ample, of libel and deliberate infliction of emotional distress through defamatory claims made against him, noting that the evidence provided to substantiate the claims shown in the docu-series was false.
Y'all be checking for me, you know what I'm saying?
In response to the 500 million naira lawsuit against Warner Brothers, the multimedia company says it will not back down on its allegations against Chris Brown, saying, "We stand behind the production and will vigorously defend ourselves against this lawsuit. It's a wrap on the Vibes and Views segment on the Sunday show. My name is Anu Awojabi. Many thanks for watching.
The reintroduction of the National Sports Commission by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came at a time when Nigerians craved for a change in the style of administering sports in Nigeria. The way to go if Nigeria must get back to the glory days. However, the bureaucratic bottlenecks must be avoided where last-minute decisions were hitherto the order of the day in Nigeria.
Some of these games that are not under the control of the National Sport Commission and CAF, FEBA and all those will fix their timing, and their timing is not, they don't look at Nigerian budget. They don't look at Nigerian budget to fix their own global programs, because if they have to look at Nigerian government budget, they must look at other countries' budget. So they just fix their program, and most time it does not tally with your own budget. So that's why sport administration must be more of 65-70% private decisions and private participation.
The National Sports Commission and the various sports federations must say no to African time. Late requests, approvals and release of funds for athletes must be a thing of the past.
Every international tournament, the date would have been announced at least 18 to 24 months in advance. Yes, so with this, I think our sports administrators, especially the federation presidents and the federation boards, should be able to plan enough. They should plan well enough in advance so that they can have their budget sorted for this tournament.
Sports requires enough time for you to be able to effectively plan and deliver. It's important that administrators and sports managers see the need, to plan early rather than give occasions where we have to go into the mode of a fire brigade approach, which is unacceptable as a matter of fact.
The National Sports Commission is acting its talk following grants recently released to Ese Brume. This, according to the Director General of the Commission, Bukola Olokode, is designed to be a departure from when athletes receive their grants on arriving at competition venues where medals are not on sale.
Preparation. Training grants. Training grant has been so abused many years in the past, where the sportsmen and women are expected to pick their training grant at the venue of the event. For me, in my little small brain, that can't be right.
The expectations from Nigerians in seeing a rebirth to its fortunes from sport is on the high. Only time will tell if the present setup can beat the time for greatness. Omofoma Ibari.
And moving on, the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National League, Emmanuel Atta, has called on clubs and to make up the league, brace up for an exciting season. Atta made a call at the Median Pro Star Nigeria National League Award presentation in Abuja on Wednesday.
In all, a total of 6 awards were presented in the various categories that included the best goalkeeper, which went to Wikitoris goalkeeper Utum Goswell, having kept 4 clean sheets. Mane Ebereman of Sporting Supreme Football Club clinched the award for the most valuable and highest goal scorer with 4 goals under the period. Abia Comments coach Okechukwu Ude was named the best coach, having been unbeaten in 4 matches played with 2 away wins. Aminu Mohammed from Niger State Football Association took home the award for the best referee, while Smart City Football Club got the award for the best behaved team.
From strength to strength. This award is to motivate players to give their best, coaches to perform better and show them discipline and composure, referees to give us their best, and coach to behave well on and off the pitch of play.
We have seen the progress and improvement of the league in the past one season and thus ready to do everything to assist in this development. This award is one of such moves.
The awards presented on Wednesday represent matches played in the month of December 2024, which covers the periods of Match Day 1 to Match Day 4 of the current season. Of Mofoma Ebari, AIT News.
So as an artist looking to blow in the music industry, two most important people you need to have on your contact list is DJs and playlist curators. So if you can be able to take your time before you release that music, 6 weeks, 2 months, 3 months before you release music, start curating DJs, having them in a group, having them on your contacts, start curating playlist curators. It would help your music go more viral and have as much exposure as you want it to be. One of the reasons why DJs and playlist curators are very important to artists is because they can be able to expose your music to a whole different audience on a regular note. So if a DJ or if 20, 50, 100 DJs is playing your song every single day, that means you're getting daily listeners confirmed. If you have 50, 20, 10 playlist curators putting your songs in their playlist regularly, you're going to be getting daily streams, and everybody knows the importance of people listening to your music every day. The more people tend to listen, the more people tend to fall in love. And that's the reason why you need to make a DJ your friend right now, and you need to make a playlist creator your friend right now. So start searching, start finding, and hope you get the amount that is enough to get your music to the next level. See you in the next video.
Now we have come to a point where we call it a wrap for the day on this show. Do well to join us same time next week. Have a wonderful time and a great week ahead.
Bye.